When Miss Emily Grinson died, our whole town went to her funeral. The man drew a sort of respectful affection for a fallen monument. The women, mostly out of curiosity to see the inside of her house, which no one save an old man servant, a combined gardener, and cook had seen in at least 10 years. It was a big, squarish frame house that had once been white, decorated with cupolas and spires and scrolled balconies in the heavily lightsome style of the 70s. Set on what had once been our most select street. But garages and cotton gins had encroached and obliterated even the august names of that neighborhood. Only Miss Emily's house was left, lifting its stubborn and coquettish decay. Above the cotton wagons and the gasoline pumps, an eyesore among eyesores. And now Miss Emily had gone to join the representative of those august names, where they lay in the Cedar Burials Cemetery. Among the rank and anonymous grave of Union and Confederate soldiers who fell at the Battle of Jefferson.
Alive, Miss Emily had been a tradition, a duty, and a care, a sort of hereditary obligation upon the town. Dating from that day in 1894 when Colonel Sartoris, the mayor, he who fathered the edict that no Negro woman should appear on the streets without an apron, remitted her taxes. The dispensation dating from the death of her father on into perpetuity. Not that Miss Emily would have accepted charity. Colonel Sartoris invented an involved tale to the effect that Miss Emily's father had loaned money to the town, which the town, as a matter of business, preferred this way of repaying. Only a man of Colonel Sartoris' generation and thought could have invented it, and only a woman could have believed it.
When the next generation, with its more modern ideas, became mayors and aldermen, this arrangement created some little dissatisfaction. On the first of the year, they sent her a tax notice. February came, and there was no reply. They wrote her a formal letter asking her to call at the sheriff's office at her convenience. A week later, the mayor wrote her himself, offering to call or to send his car for her, and received in reply a note on paper of an archaic shape, in a thin flowing calligraphy, in faded ink, to the effect that she no longer went out at all. The tax notice was also enclosed without comment.
They call a special meeting of the Board of Aldermen. Thank you for coming to the meeting. A deputation waited upon her, knocked at the door, through which no visitor had passed since she ceased giving China painting lessons 8 or 10 years later. Open the door! They were admitted by the old Negro into a dim hall from which a stairway mounted into still more shadow. Follow me, gentlemen. It smelled of dust and disuse, a close, dank smell. The Negro led them into the parlor. It was furnished in heavy leather-covered furniture. When the Negro opened the blinds of one window, they could see that the leather was cracked. And when they sat down, a faint dust rose sluggishly about their thoughts, spinning with slow modes in the single sun ray. So dusty, huh? On a tarnished gilt easel, before the fireplace, stood a crayon portrait of Miss Emily's father. They rose when she entered. A small, fat woman in black. Who are there to meet me? With a thin gold chain descending to her waist and vanishing into her belt. Leaning on an ebony cane, with a tarnished gold head. Her skeleton was small and spare. Perhaps that was why what would have been merely plumpness in another was obesity in her. She looked bloated, like a body-long submerged in motionless water, and of that pallid hue. Emily looks like a drowned people, is it? Her eyes, lost in the fatty ridges of her face, look like two small pieces of coal pressed into a lump of dough. As they moved from one face to another, while the visitors stated their errand.
She did not ask them to sit. She just stood in the door and listened quietly until the spokesman came to a stumbling halt. Then they could hear the invisible watch ticking at the end of the gold chain. Perhaps one of you can gain access to the city records and satisfy yourself. Her voice was dry and cold. I have no taxes in Jefferson. Colonel Sartoris explained it to me. But we have. We are the city authorities, Miss Emily. Didn't you get a notice from the sheriff signed by him? Sheriff, I have no taxes in Jefferson. I received a paper, yes, Miss Emily said. Perhaps he considers himself there. But there is nothing on the books to show that. You see, we must go by there. See, Colonel Charteris, I have no taxes in Jefferson. But, Miss Emily, see Colonel Sartoris. Colonel Sartoris had been dead almost 10 years. I have no taxes in Jefferson, Top. The Negro appeared. Show this gentleman out.